Australians are competitive and love to win. No secret there. But there's one contest where winning might mean losing. It's the population race. Currently, our country is growing at more than twice the rate of America, the United Kingdom, and would you believe, China. Most politicians and economists say big is not only beautiful, but essential, that a booming population fuelled by immigration will guarantee our future prosperity. But it's an argument that's hard to cop for many everyday Aussies, crushed by endless development, congestion and overcrowding. Directly beneath the landmark to the first church ever built in Australia, massive new cathedrals are being carved out of the sandstone 30 metres below. The twin 15-kilometre tunnels will run deep under the seafloor of Sydney Harbour, creating a much-needed second rail crossing. The existing network barely copes with all the passenger demand. So these tunnels fit into the new congestion-busting mantra of the Morrison government, who this week announced cuts to immigration to ease the squeeze on our biggest cities.
We've stuffed them. Look, ask someone who's sitting in a traffic jam. They just think this is ridiculous. And our politicians say, oh, we just need more infrastructure. Crap.
Do you need a lot of people to have a good city?
Yes. In my opinion, the really great cities of the world have to have at least 6, 7, 8 million people.
So the critical mass for Sydney, you think, is about double what it is now?
It would not be terrible if Sydney was double 5 million.
10 million people living in Sydney alone. Don't laugh, it may happen sooner than you think. And the same goes for Melbourne. Our surging population has been fuelled by record immigration levels, which has meant Australia is growing by 400,000 people a year. If you walk around one of our big cities and feel like it's more crowded than ever before, well, you'd be right. These streets are filling up at a rate that far exceeds official estimates. Just 20 years ago, the number crunchers, the Australian Bureau of Statistics, predicted there'd be 25 million people in Australia by 2051. Well, we hit that target last year, 33 years ahead of schedule. The problem is, where does it all stop? You really noticed that, a big influx of people?
100%. Yeah,
It's crazy.
It's extraordinary, really. Yeah. I mean, the rate of knots it goes up, I can't believe it.
Ben and Tori Loughnane are battling to get ahead. Ben works at Sydney University as a gardener. And the best thing about the early starts is he beats the crowds. Meanwhile, back in their small rental cottage, Tori gets 5-year-old Ivy and little Ethan ready for daycare and school. Before she starts her working day, their goal is their own home. For both of you, the great Australian dream is still really your dream.
We'd love to.
Yes,
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
That's the end game, as I'd like to call it.
But do you think with this population growth we have at the moment, it's attainable?
No. No, definitely not with house prices.
Well, that's a bit depressing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've often
I don't know why we're
talked
smiling, to be honest, but anyway, we are.
Yeah.
To give an example of how we've gone past the sweet point, when I bought my house, Pip and myself, we bought a house that cost $32,000 in Sydney in 1970. And I think it was about 4 times the annual salary. Now it's over double or even more than that. Young couples can't afford a house with a block of land where the kids can play in a cubby house. That's wrong.
People are taking up to 2 hours to get to work, and that's 2 hours there, 2 hours back, just wasting so much family time. No wonder we're having so many social problems.
For Dick Smith, the only way to beat Sydney's crippling traffic congestion is in the air. But the endless development he sees below depresses the hell out of him.
But that's just the start, what I'm going to show you. Then these houses will be knocked down and they'll go high-rise.
The best cities in the world only have a few million. I often quote Geneva. I think it has a population of 1 million, but it's over 1,000 years old. Now, why